Alright, so here's the deal, guys. I did my little Fleabay edition yesterday. Was not going to do another one. I'm going to try and limit them to once a week or something, I kind of feel like. But I whipped open this stuff today, and there's a couple of sellers here, one in particular that just pisses me off. So I thought we better share. But let's put this in context a little bit. I've been trying to add parts slowly, patterns for castings, machine parts and stuff as time goes along. I have reached the point where I am planning my retirement. So we've had several changes. Our youngest has taken a job here a fair amount away, and he's going to be moving out here in the next month probably, which we've been planning for that too. We knew this was going on, we just didn't know our time frame yet. So we're making a bunch of changes here, and with me basically retiring, I have to have something to do. And what I plan on doing is over the next 2 or 3 months, I'm going to do pretty much nothing but build patterns and develop casting stuff. We've got to finish up the sand molar, and then we've got our other projects going on that I'm going to work on too. But one of the primary focuses here is going to be patterns, castings, and machine parts for the Atlas machines. Because here again, I see listings like I see today from primarily one seller, and we're being ripped off way too much. So I'm going to go through these very quickly, and then I got to get to the shop because we are finishing up. We're going to probably do some castings today. I still got to build a core box for this hinge bracket. And I'm going to finish up the pattern, prepping the pattern for the tool post grinder guard. I had a request for that when I had the guard out. I thought we might as well get that done and in production. That's not going to be a big demand item, but we'll get a couple of those cast up very quickly and finished out and put on the website. So I just wanted to look at these fairly quickly and give you my perspective, which you probably already know my perspective, but then I've got to get on to other things. So let's start off with Atlas mills again, and this is stuff that I just discovered this morning. We have a seller, and this is a seller that's been around, and I've talked about this seller before, and I believe this is a seller that I had somebody send me an email saying that he'd talked to this guy or knew this guy, and he basically was parting out machines, and he would see what they were selling for on eBay and basically double the price. So these are more than double the prices, so I think we're so far out of perspective that we better take a look at these and make sure we know what we're looking at. Atlas horizontal mill M161, M19, M160 arbor support arm assembly. That is a P06. I think those are probably his numbers. So the description says, and these are very vague descriptions, he's seen that we're hammering on them. All it says is Atlas horizontal mill parts. So if we look at the pictures, it's an overarm support. It's the support bar for the arbor, and then the overarm support bolts into it. So, and I guess I didn't look or didn't say, he wants $700 on a buy it now for that. $700 is, this guy's not smoking dope, he's chewing on the tree. Rusted out overarm support. The support bar, those are not the proper bolts, those are just somebody's bolts that he's come up with from the hardware store. And this has been machined off. Now, I don't know that that's a bad thing necessarily, but looking at the condition of the rest of this, I wonder why. And has it been faced off true to the bore or perpendicular to the bore here? I mean, who knows? But this is a piece of shit. I mean, granted, you don't see many of these factory bars. We're seeing more and more floating around only because the guys can get big bucks out of them. I cast one in aluminum. It's not nearly $700. We talked about this arbor support here, or the support bar. It's 1.5" round stock, whether it's cold roll, whether it's shafting, whatever. It's all it does is provide support. This is a later style assembly here, and you know, that's what it is. As we go through the pictures, there's nothing spectacular about it. Yeah, it's the M160 support, the M19 support bar, and the M161 bar. So not 700 bucks worth. You know, it's kind of it's scroungy. The bushing is going to be wore out, I'm sure, which isn't a big replacement. You know, that's $5, but nonetheless, it's being sold as, well, I guess it's being sold as a piece of shit it is for your 700 bucks. So not even close to value there. You know, that whole assembly, 200 bucks on the outside. I'd say closer to 150 is fair for that assembly. I don't really even know what his dimensions are there, but he's showing evidently probably the slot diameter. I think that's about 5/8, and then 1.5 inch bar, so which we knew. So there's that one. Next one down, same seller. Atlas Mills support arm lock assembly, M6-45, M1-2645. $33 buy it now and $5 shipping. And I didn't look to see what the shipping was on the last one. Let's look at that very quickly before we look at this. $65 to ship that over. $764.15 to get that piece of crap arbor support. Okay, the lock arm assembly. This is one of the lock arm assemblies that holds the overarm bar in place. This consists of the 3 pieces, you know, the bottom that's cut out for the square bolt. This is a rubber bushing in the middle, which a standard fuel line hose will probably work, but it's just a rubber bushing, round bushing that's ground away, and it helps on the arbor support for the 1.5 inch. These are the same split cotters that go on all of the other Atlas things, the tailstock of the lathe, all of those type of things. It's just they have the third one. You know, these are ones that we produce here in-house with the mill assembly. You get 3 of them, and I don't remember how much they are, but they're not even close to, I think they're less than half for that. Now, I do not supply the rubber bushing at this point in time, and I do not supply the square-headed bolt because I haven't sourced one of those. I'll probably have to turn some of them to have them of a decent material to do that. And this is just a wing nut on top. It would normally have the standard little Atlas knob on top. So there again, being ripped off. What are we thinking? This is this is one of those sellers that, you know, I will point out sellers, but this is a seller that I will kind of rag on now. He has gone way beyond any kind of common sense. There's nothing here worth having. He's selling nothing worth having. On down, milling machine M152 cover plate and label, PO4, $100 and $9.65 shipping. This is the small door that goes on the milling machine. Any kind of a description with it? I doubt it. He's not saying too much. Nope, just milling machine M152 cover plate and label. Beat to crap. Beat to crap. The label's all twisted up here. The paint's all beat off of it. It does have the hinge pin. Big whoop. This is a piece of junk. And he wants $100 for this. You're not going to see my machines running here for the next 3 or 4 months because they're going to be in pieces because I'm dimensioning stuff. We're building patterns off of all this stuff as much as I can do. So this does have the latch on the back. There again, small piece of stamped steel that snaps in. We will have all of this stuff available. If somebody wants one of these doors in aluminum, probably about $35 for a new no, not even that. Probably about $25 for that reproduction plate right there. So there again, we're not going to waste a tremendous amount of time on this guy. Here's another one. Horizontal M1 401 spindle belt guard cast iron. $500 buy it now and $64.15 shipping. This is a guard that I've cast in the past. I will be casting them again. This guard is probably about $150 guard is my guess. So we can look at the pictures. There's problems with this guard. This is an M1-401A. This cutout right here, that's somebody's butchered up job. That is not original to the mill. That should be solid all the way across there. You're being ripped off. This casting is worth 30 bucks. Yeah, see, this is all screwed up. This is a piece of crap. You know, this is a mill that probably was in pretty bad shape, but they've butchered this all up. Now, the reason for this is probably they've changed the upper pulleys. Well, shouldn't be, because there shouldn't be a belt running out that way. I don't know why they've done that. Access to lube it, something, I have no idea. Anyway, this is a piece of crap guard. This is worthless. And he's trying to get 500 bucks for this. This notch here is either worn or cut. They didn't originally have a cut there either. Yeah, see, even in the M1401B. Now see, I think he's calling that the A. The A may have been, or I think that was an A. The A may have been the earlier model. I don't really know what the differences were in those. All of the upper guards hinged the same way on the same hinge bracket as far as I know. But this one's showing a B. But it's the number on it's a 401A. So for whatever reason, yeah, this is an extra cutout, which there may have been something put on here that required a cutout. Hinge not positioned properly, guard not positioned properly. You know, there's no knob on it. There's no nothing. This is a $30 casting. So yeah, dump this seller off your list. Here he's got a countershaft bracket PO1, $225 and 1610 shipping. This is one that should be in cast iron. I will prototype this in aluminum, and this is one that I need for on my production milling machine project. So, and this is a relatively easy pattern. We'll be cranking one of these out here directly. We'll see how strong it is in aluminum. I may, for now, to get to work forward on mine, I will, well, I'll definitely cast one or two of them in aluminum. We'll see if they're strong enough to do that, or if they need to be in cast iron. Ultimately, they'll be in cast iron, but a brand new one shouldn't be nearly $225. Yeah, rip off, rip off, rip off, rip off. We'll come back to this seller. He's got at least one more real nice listed item. Oh yeah, it's just a couple down here. This is a different seller. This is a newer seller. I believe this is the one that did a, and I could be mistaken, but I believe he did a pretty nice restoration on a milling machine gearbox, which you wanted too much money for. I think it's still listed out there for $425 or something. You know, that's way too much money, although he did do a nice job on it. I think he's probably decided that he's going to make his fortune by refurbishing parts. And I think he's kind of on the wrong track already here. Atlas Craftsman 1012 lathe milling attachment, beautiful. 10501, 10502 used, $450 and $29 shipping. Or he does have a make offer. Description says Atlas Craftsman 1012 lathe milling attachment, beautiful. 10-501, 10-502. This has been stripped, degreased, primed, painted, and polished. It is beautiful. You won't find a nicer one. See pictures. Okay, well, he's already decided he's going to lie to us. So if we look at the pictures, looks pretty decent. You know, not a bad looking milling attachment. If we look here, looks like the paint's chipped. Looks like the paint's chipped. Let's move on. Holes drilled in the vise table. We'll call it the vise table, the vise body, however we want to look at it there. Okay, there's the second picture. Go on to the third picture. I can't tell much from that without zooming in, but once we look a little closer, it's a little more telling. There's the other side. There again, doesn't look bad. You know, initial look on it. Bottom's got normal wear and tear on it. You know, I mean, I'm not going to beat it up for that. there's, you know, some markings. Now, what's this little divot right here? And what's this little divot right here, and why would they be there? And I don't have a real good reason as to why they should be there. I don't know that I've ever seen that. Usually when you see a peen mark like that, it's to move material over and apparently try and close up this dovetail is my guess. But if we've done that along there, then that's just a quick and dirty tighten it up some, which I really don't see the need for it. You've got a gib here, but that's a quick and dirty tighten it up to make it a little bit tighter. You know, remember the putting sawdust in your transmission so you can't hear it howl. Same thing. Here we're looking, and I looked at these pictures a little bit closer, and I guess we'll have to go back and look because there's a couple of things that I did notice that I was going to point out. Here's been disassembled. There's the old ragged bushing that apparently was shoved back in there. Let's go back and look at these, zoom in a little bit on some of these pictures here. This one there, yeah, you can see the chip paint right there. Or if that's not a chip paint there, then the paint that was left underneath it apparently, or a casting defect, something looks like chip paint to me. We look at the rest of it, it's not bad. Looking up here, it's got the normal staining. The hand wheel's no great whoops there. It's got some normal bang around marks on it. A little discoloration on the feed screw, that type of thing. Looks like we've got scuff marks on that lower left corner of that jaw. We got about three drill marks down into the vise body. And looks kind of grungy on the ways there. Nothing really bad, but nothing really good there. Now, is that a casting defect right there on that base, or where it was fed when it was cast, or is that just a big hunk whacked out of it? I guess it probably looks like it's castings. But you know, why do we have discoloration here on a nice new painted surface? What's the deal with that? Same way on this side. Maybe that's a casting sprue or feeder. But you know, this appears to be a machine that we did a quickie, clean it up, throw a coat of paint on it, and send it on its way. There's our little divots on there. Don't know why those are there. No idea. So you won't find a nicer one, huh? Looks like a piece of junk. Looks like a piece of junk. $200. Okay, so there, like I say, that's a fairly new seller. Needs to kind of get it together here. And we're just about done. There's a couple other things. Now we're back to our original fine seller that's really screwing people over. We have a Atlas horizontal mill M1 21B 107A 80B countershaft hanger pulley assembly. Used. That's an understatement. $425. Buy it now. $16.10 expedited shipping. Now let's look at this fine $400 setup here. And I guess we better look at these a little bit closer to really put this in perspective. So, been sandblasted. Look at the peen marks on the pulley itself. So that's been sandblasted off or bead blasted, one of the two. That collar matches it. Both collars actually match it, although it's really pronounced on the inner collar there. Been sandblasted off. What are we hiding? Okay. Let's move on. There's some really interesting things about this piece of junk. There again, you can see the sandblast marks on the pulley, corrosion on the shaft. That collar, you can see it's been sandblasted off. The other collar on the end is chewed up, which is normal. You see those, you know, there's a flat there. That's where the set screws ride against them. You expect to see that there. Got a socket head cap screw in that collar. So why does it not have a standard collar like would normally go in there? Junk. Now we're going to pay attention to our hinge assemblies there. They're a biggie as we go along, but let's just look at these as we go. Well, isn't that interesting? Looks like there's been a piece put in there. The whole back end of this casting has been broken out on both sides when we go back and look at it, and they put a piece back in there. So this was a busted casting. They've got it bolted on there. Probably works fine, but does it make it worth, what, $425? No, not even close. Look at there, you got a better view. The adjustment screws are all chewed up. Been primed out, so since the rest of it was obviously sandblasted, that's a Craftsman pulley. It was badged Craftsman, which doesn't really mean anything, but was badged Craftsman. But the bushing here, the oil light bushing that goes in there, is looks like it's been painted over, so it's never been. It was sandblasted off of the rest, so it's junk. It's worthless. Throw it away. Nothing new and exciting there. Better view of the top of it. That oh, look, when we look at the pictures, it kind of appears that the Gitz oilers are missing. Huh. Yeah, this seller is just trying to screw people over. This is a piece of junk. This is worth 75 bucks for the sum of its parts that would be useful. And the pulley will be useful. Beyond that, you got a piece of crap. Okay, that's all we got there. It seems as though the only other thing that I noticed, and I do want to get on here with my day, the only other thing that I noticed here was under lathes, I believe. And there's a few guards here for the lathe, the 10-inch lathe, 10F-28X. Gotta let the dog in. Okay, sorry about that. We've got several 10F-28 guards here, and most of them have got the mounting brackets and everything. And I won't really go into them. I will look at this one because it's from a seller that we've been talking about, the second newer seller. We have a 10F-28 and chart. Now this is a complete one. They want $100 or with no bids or best offer and $69.45 shipping. Directly below that, and this is our seller that's newer seller that's been refurbished and stuff. Atlas 10 lathe, excellent gear guard assembly, 10F-28X, $35 no bids, $50 buy it now and $25 shipping. This is probably not a bad buy. It's got the hinge, it's got the inner guard. Let's just look at the big picture real quick and then we'll go back and look at it. There's what you're getting: the guard itself, the hinge, the inner guard, the mounting bolts or mounting bracket to mount it on there, and on the inside it's got the gear chart, change gear chart, and it does have the knob. So it's probably worth the $50 buy it now price and $25 shipping. That's getting to be close to what I consider top end, but here we are. Atlas 10 lathe, excellent gear guard assembly, 10F-28X, excellent strip degrease, 2 coats of automotive primer. 2 coats of automotive primer means it's been bomb canned from the local AutoZone or O'Reilly's auto parts. When you look at the finish on that, there's nothing there. Whether that's a 2 coats of the primer sealer, whether it's a whoever's brand it is, or if it's the primer surfacer to act as a filler, and it's hard to tell. It kind of looks like it's the sealer, but that's nothing. Emblem polished nicely. That detracts from it right there, because if you go back and look at that emblem, they've taken and polished all the color off of it. This was one of the earlier brass emblems, so the earlier ones were brass, the later ones were aluminum, and I believe that to be true. I don't know when the transition was. I don't really know what the deal is with that, but from ones that I've looked at, and I've got both brass ones and aluminum ones, I would speculate that from a cost standpoint and everything, the earlier ones were brass, and later on they changed to aluminum. It would have been in line with what they did with the gear charts and all of that, because those were all predominantly aluminum as well as I remember. And I don't know if there was some sort of a transition. I don't know if they were used on one machine, model of machine, whatever the case may be, but I believe those were probably earlier emblems. But anyway, all of the paint and color's been buffed off of it. You can see there's a scarf mark in the top of it, and there's some scarring on it and everything. So rather than trying to actually restore it, why it was just stripped off and polished, because that's easier. And when you go to cleaning these up and working them, why a lot of times the interior paint will be peeled out when you steel wool them and that type of thing. So anyway, that's the story with that. So I think he's trying to make his way there when he gets into stuff like that. Why, I would say that guard's it's probably worth $50 with all the parts there. Then you're paying another $25 shipping. That would be, those will fit in a medium flat rate box, I believe. So anyway, pays your money, takes your chances. That's all I got for you today. But if you've got requests for particular parts, why, give a yell and I'll see what I can do. Like I say, the next 2, 3, 4 months, 6 months, whatever it is, I'm concentrating on setting up tooling and parts for Atlas stuff. So anyway, that's all I got for you today. Comments, suggestions, leave in the comment section for me below. Let's make it to where these guys, it's not profitable for them to be parting out these machines, and it's especially not profitable for them to be trying to get big bucks. So anyway, thanks for taking the time to watch, guys.